Hi, my name is Elizabeth Mueller. I'm a senior at Ridgeway Secondary School, and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about myself and my STEM journey. So, why am I interested in STEM? There are so many reasons. Ever since I was little, I've really kind of developed a need for, order and understanding in a very tangible way. I'm a visual learner, and the way that I was satisfied in that and in my learning was through science. It's always been that way, or math too, but science particularly because um, it's less pure and abstract, and it's more applied, and that's easier for someone who's so tangible to understand. I love mechanical engineering, which is I know not what I'm going for. I'm not going to be a mechanical engineer because it has no sense of personal connection to it, and I care a lot about personal connection in my career path. I'm choosing to go into psychiatry, which makes me so happy. I'm so excited because it not only is it about the emotional attachment to another person, about helping someone live their life the way they want it to be, but also about why things are the way they are. Chemical solutions, real solutions to problems that feel incredibly intangible. And I mentioned this before in my essay. You may not have written or read it yet. I've experienced some difficulty with mental health issues due to grief and a series of traumatic incidents in my life. And thanks to psychiatrists and doctors and people in my life that cared about me from a medical standpoint, I was able to grow from that and able to become the person that I am now, trying to reach things that I see that I could have in my life, like a medical degree. And all this excitement for psychiatry does come from that personal standpoint, but also because it feels right to be giving back to people who deserve it. I feel as though I'm acting in a way that I'm doing something that was given to me, and I'm going to be reciprocating that into the world in a professional way for most of my life, and I'm so excited about that. Another question that you had on the application was what my favorite STEM activity was. I'm sure so many people talk about their pinhead internships, but I loved my pinhead internship so much. It was in the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. Kind of weird for a science-based internship, but I was in the collections department. Excuse me. I was in the collections department for the most part, and so I was studying as new artifacts were coming in, re-looking at older artifacts that had been sitting on the shelves for a while, and ensuring that they, were in environments that were sustainable, in the sense that it would prevent further restoration processes from having to occur. If I was taking a lot of samples on humidity, temperature in the archival areas in the museum, ensuring that these pieces, especially ones of paper or pieces of art, or the metal was really difficult, metal pieces of artifact, because we had to ensure that no new rust was forming. Sometimes we'd have to go in with a wax solvent or other consolidant. I'm totally going on about this, but it was so interesting, um, you know, making sure that we would not have to go forward later and restore a piece that was already in good condition and would stay in good condition. And I also learned about the difference between restoration and preservation. I already knew what that was at a very base level, but when you're talking about something so impactful as a piece of history, an artifact, you're holding something in your hand, gloved hand, that that can represent a human life. It really kind of feels more impactful than any other item in this world. Um, and so when you're discussing restoration, preservation, you wonder is it better to bring this back to what it was? We can do that chemically, with the right solvents, but it maybe takes away the story a little bit. And so a lot of my time was spent in discussion and talking about the history of an artifact. How can we best show it? How can this be incorporated into the museum's mission? And also talking about really difficult things like, is it worth showing this piece if it's so, there's a lot of Nazi propaganda from World War II that was very, it's kind of sickening, to see things like that. And we wonder if it's better to show the public that or not. And then again, it's better to be open, and all these different dimensions of a collections department. And I got to be around these beautiful people that have been in museum studies and in collection studies for 35, 40 years. They know what they're doing. I did not until after that internship. I felt like I was really a part of the team, by the end there. I'm sorry, I'm totally going on about it, but it was such an amazing opportunity where I could see, excuse me, how chemistry really kind of takes place it takes place in our history. How chemistry, from a very professional standpoint, sorry, can be detrimental. It's so amazing. Anyway, and then your last question was if there's anything I need to tell the scholarship committee. I did mention this. My gosh. Ugh. I mentioned this in my essay, but I am seeking a bachelor's in liberal arts. I know that is not at all conducive to your scholarship requirements, the criteria, but I said, hey, I have been planning on applying for the scholarship for a really long time. I am pursuing a STEM-based path. I am going to medical school. I feel very strongly that if I were to do a bachelor's in something more narrow-minded, more specific to psychiatry, which I absolutely could, or clinical psychology, either of those, I feel I would not be as prepared to go into the scientific world and to help people in their lives and to connect with them. I feel by doing a liberal arts program that I will be more prepared, because I'm not only studying I'm Euclid. I'm not only studying Einstein, which I am going to be studying. I'm so excited. I'm not just doing relativity. I'm not just doing medicine. I'm doing human emotion in psychiatry. It's in a very logical level, but I still need to understand human connectivity, and I know that I won't get that to the extent that I need to if I do my psychiatry path from A to B to Z. A to B to Z. There you go. Yeah, and so I feel very confident in this. If it's not conducive to your scholarship, that's totally fine. I'm so glad I got to share with you a bit of my passion for what I'm about to be doing, and what my future holds for me. I'm so genuinely excited to be helping people just the way that I was helped in a time of need for me, and to be studying things that are fascinating on every level. So, yeah, I so appreciate your support, whether or not I'm given any scholarship. I appreciate you and what you're doing, dear committee. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a great day.